Entitled and demands my father shovel her driveway, not even 2 weeks after he was released from the hospital. Hey guys, I'm back with another Entitled and story. Same end as my other stories. So the backstory. In early December 2017, my father came down with a mild case of viral pneumonia. He took medication and rested for a week or so and felt better, so we thought that was that. Fast forward to 2 days before Christmas. My father relapsed badly and was admitted to the hospital with bacterial pneumonia and a lung abscess. He spent 5 days in the hospital and was basically on strict rest orders for most of January 2018. He was released on December 28th, and we got our first major snowstorm on January 4th. We must have gotten about 1.5 feet of snow. Well, around 6 or 7 p.m. at night, we get a call from my aunt. My father had the phone on speaker because he was working on an airplane model, and had been set up right under my bedroom, so I heard the entire conversation. And my father's childhood nickname. Hi, Entitled Aunt. And Mom, and I want to know when you're going to come to shovel our driveway. My aunt lived with my grandmother at this point. Father, Aunt, you are going to have to figure something out. I can't come shovel your driveway. And what do you mean you can't come shovel our driveway? Father, Aunt's name. I got out of the hospital for a lung abscess a week ago. I'm not allowed to do anything physically strenuous for the entire month. But our driveway isn't very big. It only ever seems to take you half an hour or so. Father, Aunt's name. I get winded just walking up my staircase. I'm not allowed to even go to work for another 2 weeks. I can't shovel your driveway. And even with that snowblower I bought a few years ago. Father, that snowblower you bought barely works and makes shoveling harder, so no, not even with the snowblower. But I have somewhere to be tomorrow. Couldn't you just shovel out where my car is? Father, no. Get one of your friends to do it because I medically can't. And you know that the friend who used to do that stuff for me recently had half his leg amputated and can't do stuff like that anymore. Father, you understand that your friend can't because he has a medical condition. Why can't you understand that I also can't do it because I also have a medical condition at the moment? Or as Mom, let me talk to her. Grandmother, hello Father's nickname. How are you feeling? Father, I'm doing okay. Could you please tell my sister that I can't shovel your driveway because I am on rest orders? Grandmother to my aunt, what the freak is wrong with you? I thought I freaking told you not to call your brother you dip crap. He just got out of the hospital. If you want the driveway shoveled so badly, do it yourself. No. I'm not asking your brother if his son can come do it. No, I don't care. Do it yourself. I'm sorry Father's nickname. Have a good night and feel better. I'll deal with your idiot sister. Father, thanks Mom. Good night. My father would make a full recovery with no adverse effects from the illness. I was only reminded of this story because just this week my aunt called my father in the middle of a snowstorm, asking him to run to the market for her because she needed cigarettes. You'll be happy to know my father refused.
That doesn't want me to have any privacy. So this is going to be a small one, and I'm not sure if it really counts. But let's see. So whenever I just want to go on a Zoom call, my teacher tells us to shut the door due to sound issues and data privacy. My dad doesn't want this, so whenever I join the call, he has a software on the PC that lets him see when I go on the call, and he just stands there watching me. My teacher has literally asked him to leave, but he refuses. Another thing is when I'm in the shower, he always just stands there staring at me to ensure I don't use the hot water. It's really creepy, and I've told him so many times I don't like it, but he still does it. Whenever I do manage to get some privacy to make a call, and I'm convinced him to let me have my privacy, for the rest of the day he'll just speak in a certain way that makes you feel really bad even though you just want some privacy. Don't know how I forgot to add this, but this is my friend's story. Because his dad knows his Reddit account and doesn't want his dad seeing this post.
Please, sir, stop dangling your baby over the Shark Tank. So I was inspired by the Not Petting Zoo post from earlier to write up my own experiences of working as a seasonal temp at a sea life center in England. This happened the year before I started uni. So I'm 18 and I've just moved to a new city to be with my now thankfully ex-boyfriend, and I'm looking for whatever job I can get. I see an ad for a job at the local Sea Life Centre, a chain of aquariums across the UK, for someone to do talks to the punters and such. I've been in theatre groups since I could walk, so I think, great, I can learn scripts and talk about fish, and manage to get a 6-week seasonal job over the October half-term and leading up to Christmas. About 50% of my job is doing these talks for school groups about the otters, the sea turtles, the Finding Nemo exhibit, and so on. 15% is cleaning the outside of the tanks. 5% is dressing up in the giant otter mascot suit and getting kicked to shreds by toddlers at birthday parties. And 30% was sitting freezing my arse off at the touch pool, a simulated rock pool with crabs and sea anemones the kids could touch, situated right above the constantly open front door and directly across from the open-top black-tipped reef shark and moonray tank, and Basil the bottom-feeding bamboo shark. It was my favorite. That's right, I said open-top, with 1.3-meter glass sides, filled with water sharks and stingrays. I kid you not, the number of parents I had to ask not to dangle their babies or toddlers over the 1-meter deep water was ridiculous. At least 3 a day, probably rising to 10 or 12 on the busy weekends. The parents were not impressed by my adherence to basic common sense. I got thrown incredulous looks, angry retorts, a lot. The crowning glory, though, was the dad who informed me, "It's fine, you can just jump in there after them. But I am a 5-foot to minimum wage worker. You could not pay me to jump in shark-infested water to save your baby that you just dropped. Sorry, not sorry." That job was kin to terrible TBH, and the lunchroom was right next to the very smelly quarantine area. I was very happy to leave at the end of my contract.
"Stick to your natural hair color," said a mom when her kid asked why she can't dye her hair. TLDR, today y'all learn Asian hair gets freaky and not always ruler straight and black. Lol. I'm Asian, with dark hair that naturally turns light from sun exposure. I'm half native to our country on my dad's side. It's pretty known to most of my countrymen that our tribe folks usually have hair like me. Think honey blonde highlights. So it was at the grocery store, where a teenage girl pointed at me and loudly asked her mom why can't she dye her hair like me. Mom yelled at me to stick to my natural hair color and stop being a wannabe white person. I ran into them again at another aisle. Mom gave me the dirty side eye while her daughter asked me where I get my highlights. Told her it's natural. This seems to piss the mom, who sarcastically remarked how my facial features, flat nose, angular face, Asian, thick lips, don't match my wannabe ambition. To which I combatively reply if only she pays attention in history class at school. She probably knows my features and hair matched my tribe's. But alas, she probably flunked that subject. She went red, dragged her kid away, and that's that. Apparently Asian folks can only have one type of hair color. Edit, my hair is like this, from sun exposure. Just like some pointed out, hair does whatever it wants, though. So, during monsoon season, tropical climate country here, my hair gets darker, but you can still see the two tones difference. However, during dry season, where the sun basically lights your ass on fire the moment you step outside, it's a glorious ombre effect with light highlights. Although 90% of Southeast Asian has dark brown-black hair, a few native tribes around Asia share this same trait, and dare I say, pretty common if you inherit the genetic. Half of the relatives on my dad's side have hair like this naturally.
Am wants me to leave my house because she needs to isolate, and her daughter would just die without a proper TV and Wi-Fi. A cousin is a single mother who lives with her elderly parents. Her daughter, 5, was exposed to someone with COVID and is now starting to show symptoms. My heart goes out for them, but here's the thing. Cousin called me earlier to find out if there's a possibility that I can go stay with my parents for 2 weeks, so she can isolate with her daughter in my house. Going to my parents would mean having to put in leave at work. He can afford a guest house, and even if she couldn't, our government actually provides accommodations for cases like this, but no. Apparently, going to such a place would be restrictive to her dearest baby, and the child would just die without a proper TV and Wi-Fi. So, My backyard is nice and big and they would love to use the pool during the hot summer's days. And since my parents are elderly, they could probably use my help for 2 weeks. Believe me, they don't want me there. At this point, I can honestly just frown and shake my head, because this woman really expects me to move out of my house and miss 2 weeks of work because her precious child would just die without a TV and Wi-Fi.
Did you recognize all of the voices? You can leave your guesses in the comments.